ver si nos tira un retrato nosotros también. A ver cómo salimos, porque salimos como menos edad o algo así. Mira, no está menos edad. Ante cámara.
Hola. I'll wait for 1 second. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's do it again.
No. A little too cheesy.
Elizabeth, this way, all the way over.
Okay, you all will do that forever if we let you.
No, thank you very much. If you could just hold this for a little bit. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lou Pizzatola. Thank you for joining us. As many of us first discovered during the presidential campaign of 2004, our guest tonight shares her husband's commitment to individuals and communities disadvantaged by poverty and substandard education and healthcare system. We also learned during Senator John Edwards' campaign that his wife, our guest tonight, has an impressive legal background of her own as a law clerk in Virginia's U.S. District Court, working for the North Carolina Attorney General's Office, Saving Graces. It is a pleasure to introduce to you the author of Saving Graces, Elizabeth Edwards.
Thank you, Lou. Yeah, you don't think it resonates, the bankruptcy lawyer thing?
For some people.
Yeah. As I'm walking through here, this huge bookstore, I'm thinking what the world needed now is another book. This is a book that I wrote really because I felt I had to communicate something that I thought was really important. And that is something maybe everybody knows, but people don't know how to act on it. And that is how important it is in times of struggle to have built relationships on which you can rely. We all have, and this is true in each one of our communities, throughout the country and actually throughout the world, we have obligations to one another. And those obligations come in really big ways where we need to take care of people who are in great need, and they come in little ways where we have to treat every person with dignity and respect. The truth of the matter is, though that's sort of a easy message to say, it's also a very easy message to live. It's amazing to me that people who wait on you at a table or who check you out at the grocery store have their name on their chest, but people don't use it. You don't reach out and speak to them as if they had dignity and were due some respect. I do that and have always done it. And that's the littlest way, but the biggest way that I reach out to make those connections has meant that when bad things happened, I had a safety net that I had built. I wrote the book for a couple of reasons. One is I wrote it for the people who are going to go through hard times, and if it hasn't been you yet, there'll be a day when it is. We all are going to have to face hard times, and I wanted to model in a different way. As much as we all admired Jacqueline Kennedy, and I admired her a great deal, and I think she did the right thing for the country. What she did in her grieving over her husband was show a stoicism that some people thought that they had to model when it came to their grieving. And I wanted to show, here's somebody I've heard of, and look, they grieved in a way where they seemed desperate sometimes. And so, and they leaned on people. They didn't feel like they had to stand alone in the gracious and beautiful way that she did. But we need models who also show us that it's all right to be human. It's all right to need other people. And so part of the reason I did it is to show people who are going through grieving that they can in fact rely on the people around them. They can do what I did a number of times and fall apart in times that are not ideal, because that's a human process, and the people around us are not looking at us in a bad way, they're looking at us in a good way. And the other piece of people I wrote it for are the people who love or care for people who have breast cancer or another disease or who are going through mourning themselves. And you can't tell people what to do. First of all, you wouldn't read it. And Doubleday Broadway would be unhappy because you wouldn't buy it. But you also can't, you have to show people. Now I don't want to say this is the only ways to do it. There's any way that feels good is the way to do it. But these are the things that I did, and I promise you I did just about everything you could think of. Anything I could think of, I tried to do to get through the struggles that I have had. And so I show people that these are some of the things you can do. And maybe people who know someone, care about someone, will know then that it's all right to mention someone who died. In fact, as a matter of fact, the longer ago they died, the better it is to mention them. The more important it is to say, this person lived and they were important and we haven't forgotten them. And it sounds like such a simple message, but you have no idea how few people understand that, how they think if they mention your child's name, they're going to remind you that he died. I never forget that. But I'm really happy if you remember that he lived. And that's the part of the message for it, just to show people those kinds of things. I'm going to read a couple of passages from the book. It's really a book about a lot of things, growing up in the military and the great community that we formed there, and growing up as just a regular mom with a house full of kids who came over every afternoon, then going through the grieving, relying on online communities, going through campaigns and relying on the great young people who gather and work in those campaigns, and then fighting breast cancer and depending on healthcare professionals. And then it turns out this enormous net of people throughout the country who reached out to hold me up when I was feeling really beaten by this disease.